Robert Gray
Thank you
this morning.
so much.
Good to see you.
Good to
or
see
this
you
afternoon, depending on where you're watching.
Exactly. We're taking your questions about your money. Call us up, 877-249-9626, or email your questions to yourmoney@foxbusiness.com.
Well, who wrote in? But Ted from Washington State. Ted asked, I own a small business with under 100 employees, and I'm looking for venture capital funding. How do I go about doing this? Or he didn't say what business he's in, Don, but one thing I did notice, you actually take pitches on your website.
We do, and what I'd advise him to do, and I think the fastest and easiest way to interest a venture capitalist is existing investments. So look at local venture capital, because venture capital is typically done within 80% of venture capital in the United States is done within 100 miles of the venture capital's office. So you have to look at the nearby folks. Looking at them, look at their website, and look at companies that are comparable, similar, or classically in a case where if those venture capitalists like that kind of business, they presumably like your kind of business. Then approach the CEO of that company, because the lifeblood of any venture capitalist is the talented entrepreneurs and CEOs of their invested companies. Pitch that CEO with someone who will understand your business and will be able to act as a proxy or vouch for you to the venture capitalist to say, met this person, great business, great technology, I really like it, and you'll get a meeting straight away. Come in the front door where you're arriving, with 200 others. It's a tougher path.
Don, and to move on to John, and everybody can jump in here. Let's back it up and break it down, because let's just look at the world of funding and the different types of funding that you can get if you own a business. When should you move? Because there's angel funding and then kind of higher up the food chain, I guess, venture funding. But how do you decide on different types of funding for your business?
Well, I think that
bank financing?
The trick of funding is to find the right person to finance your business. And there's so many out there that it's really difficult to do that. Don and I are in business to provide money to people, but there are only certain kinds of people that would meet our particular criteria, which depend on what we in particular are good at. So sometimes you have to bounce from one guy to another guy to another guy. Try and research ahead of time, as Don said, find out what they like to do. But an illusion people have is that getting money to start a business comes from venture capital. Venture capital is a particularly narrow trench, a very deep trench of money for certain kinds of scalable businesses with identifiable exits. Private equity in general is a much broader area, and there's probably $100 in private equity for a $1 or a $2 in venture, because you need a lot of money for working capital for small, dumb, and ugly companies, which is what private equity does. And so you need to not only approach one guy and think you're going to get VC money. There's many places to get money.
That's what I was getting at, is because the venture capitalists are looking, when you say scalable businesses that can quickly get much larger, that's a kind of a dummy definition of it, and businesses where you, if you're the VC, can get out of it, whether you will sell it to another company or take it public. Those are your two basic outs, correct?
Right. The positive outs, yes.
There's another one.
Well, and to the question, though, and in talking to some small business owners who are trying to attract capital from VCs and the likes, I mean, right now, it's a really tough market. Are you involved in as many projects as you typically would be, say, compared to a year or 2, 3 years ago, or is the money really drying up from your end?
It's not drying up. It's a good time. It's a good time for us.
Right.
It's not as good a time for entrepreneurs, because the prices are down. The prices of everything are down in the equity arena. And so it's tougher for the entrepreneur to raise the right amount of money because the prices are low. So they're managing predictably, do I raise less money because the prices are so low, and then come back to the market in the year, and what kind of risks does that present? And so, but this is a good time. The startups in this country are doing well, and the startups will innovate us out of this crisis.
Larry and Howard, to your point, over the years,